Continuing our back to school month, throughout the years of this broadcast, we've focused on a lot of cheating in our classrooms. What does that mean? It means when the person's taking the test and the other person's copying off the person's paper, making sure they got the correct answers. That can lead to people cheating. Some schools have like a first offense, second offense, third offense. Just a minute, I'm going to play you two clips from the principal's office detailing this. One who has 3 offenses, and the other is just first offense, 0 on the assignment, and then disciplinary action. But first, this is what it's all about. Take a look at this clip from Insert Productions with some common sense.
Class, time to begin in 3, 2, 1. No cheating. Okay, class, I need to leave the room for a minute. Remember, no cheating while I'm gone.
Cheaters never win. Now get up and don't cheat no more.
Seriously though. Okay, common sense alert. Sometimes when a teacher catches a student cheating, it's like, come over here. 0 first, and then they tear up your paper. Or otherwise, you cheated on this test? Automatic 0. They don't even put the grade in, they just tear up the paper. That's what happens in front of you. You fail the test, and then you fail the test, and then the paper gets torn up. Sometimes what happens is just principal's office, and then phone calls home, and then so and so. Not only that cheating leads to being tackled and being done, also getting an F on the test, as well as a detention, suspension. This is from a Salty Mags. It's all combined with an expulsion from school. So, the bottom line is no cheating. No cheating here. It's just common sense to tell you, hey, don't be cheating. If you cheat, you get a 0 and your paper can get torn up. A lot of times it's just you cheat, then 0 in the quiz and F for the course for the semester, and then a lot of times it's phone call home. So That's something to think about. There are actually two more. Just before we get into that, I want to tell you firsthand that I have never ever cheated on the test. There are maybe times where teachers like, you can use your notes to help you out with the test. I'm sitting there going, that's cheating. You never want to do that. Teachers may say you may use your notes. That's cheating. Not what the teacher tells you to do. So you can't just take her word for it. Just don't use the notes. If you have a teacher who tells you you can use your notes, don't use the notes. Learn what you remember in your brain, because if you use your review notes, that's cheating in your mind. But hey, your review is going to help you pass the test. It's just one of the things kids get away with. A little later on, we're going to tell you some tricks and tools that a lot of kids use to help them get away with cheating. But when we return, this kid in Lemon Bay was in trouble for cheating. Did the punishment fit the crime because he had magic hands and he was crying? We'll hear from him. And Jay decided he's going to use neat handwriting to help him pass the test. But things took a turn for the worse. Stay with us. If you just joined us, this is our back to school month. We are talking about kids cheating on exams /quizzes /tests. It's to where kids would just copy off people's paper, and yet they would get the answers right. Oftentimes they would get away with it. Sometimes they would just get their paper torn up. In this next story, in this next case right here, this kid was cheating because the teacher caught him cheating. So what happened next would just be outrageous. Take a look.
Cheating is one of the dumbest things a kid can do, and it usually leads to the most humiliation. So I'm doing some paperwork in the office, and in walks Matt with a referral for cheating. Matt, what do you have to say for yourself?
Really disappointed in myself, mainly because I got caught.
What happened?
We were studying for the... I started crying to try and, make it so he feels bad for me. She was like, okay, everyone pull out your stuff, because we're going to do the test today. And, wasn't ready, so I wrote down 2 of the words that I were having, a hard time spelling.
What you wrote on your hand?
Yeah.
Let me see it. 2 words.
Pretty much, yeah. I didn't even get to look at him at the point.
Explain.
Well, I was doing my test. I had my hand like that.
Oh, so you were like this?
Not like that, but like that. And I guess she thought I was cheating at the moment. And then she came over and flipped my hand and saw.
Did you know the consequences?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. Let me refresh. 1, 0 on the quiz.
These weren't even on the test. They were just extra credit bonus questions.
2, if you do it again, 0 for the semester. And thirdly, Mom and Dad have to be notified.
Please don't call Mom. Okay? She's gonna flip out and that. Please don't call Mom.
You'll be alright? I would give you a tissue, but I don't keep them in my office. Sorry about that. Perhaps I should. Come on, suck it up. It's not that bad.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna flip out.
It's It's just a call home.
She's gonna be so ashamed of.
These are the consequences for cheating, Matthew. And you're gonna have to pay for what you did. Matthew, I believe you've learned your lesson. I believe that we move on from this point. You know that one more time, 0 for the course. Understood? All right, get on to class. I hope Matthew learned a lesson that you can't get ahead by cutting corners.
I'd rather not cheat again, because it really wasn't worth it. The consequences were way worse than the reward would have been, so I'll try to study a lot more.
Yes, study. That's common sense. And another common sense. You can't get ahead by cutting corners. Just because you've not studied doesn't mean, I'm gonna do things my way and I'm gonna start copying out people's paper. That way I can just I won't blah 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 so this and this. And I never cut around corners. If I get stuck on a question, I ask for help. I never cheat. And if I did, I'd regret it. I regret ever cheating. Alright, here's the second one that I told you about. This person here was feeling girly because he just took the act like a man. But for cheating at the time, he was all girly about it. Watch.
Sorry, Rep. My name is Jay.
Jay?
Teacher found a cheat sheet under a student's desk. Let's see if he fesses up or makes me work for it. I'm gonna take Steve with me so he can see firsthand how we deal with students in different situations. Well, I wanna go down and have a chat. My tactic with Jay was to sit down and use the actual vocab words to get him to admit what they may or may not have done. Seems like we have a pretty contentious situation here. You look a little disheveled today. Vocab words.
When I sat down and he started saying those words, I knew exactly what he was talking about.
Is that your cheat sheet there?
My cheat sheet, it was like the most professional cheat sheet anybody would ever see. 20 words on it, neat handwriting and everything. I can't believe I got caught.
Is there anything you'd like to profess right now?
I cheated
Why did you cheat?
because I didn't study.
You cheated before?
No.
So you've never not studied for a test?
Well, I have, but I didn't cheat for it.
So you just you took the F. You took it like a man.
So you're like a man, yeah.
Then why didn't you take this like a man?
Feeling girly at the time.
You were feeling girly.
My grades in that class were terrible. Thought I'd, give it a little boost.
Your grades are terrible. Maybe because you're not studying?
Maybe.
Well, I mean, did you give any thought to what would happen if you got caught?
No.
First offense. 0 on the assignment. And then you're subject to disciplinary action.
Like a detention, right?
Like a very long detention.
Alright.
Extremely long. You're gonna have a 120 detention tomorrow. Any questions?
No.
Mr. Quinn, you have any questions? Not right now. All right. Jay, go back to class.
Okay. The key point here, he used a cheat sheet. That's one of the methods. What are other methods that people use to cheat? And how can you get away with it? This is not get away with cheating 101. This is the tools that people use to cheat. And what teachers should be looking out for. In a moment, we're going to tell you, teachers out there, what you need to look out for when you have students out there who are cheating. The tools The tools that kids get away with, what you need to look out for, is coming up next. Stay with us. This is How to Get Away with Cheating 101. Now, this is not all about a class, so if you're watching this, turn this off. Turn this segment off right now. This is a segment for teachers only. Because we see kids all the time getting away with cheating. The old thing is just copying off someone's paper. The other thing is, what's the answer in number 5? C. And now with technology, people use cell phones, computers, to help them cheat. I mean, now with computers, you go another tab, look up the answer, they'll browse through your history, and you got proof 100. But they'll look through your tab's history, saying, oh, you went on this website to look up the answers. Sorry, you got a 0. Now, there are ways that can happen. And teachers, if you're watching, you need to pay very close attention. Very close attention. And principals also. And don't be looking and don't be taking this video and then saying, oh, I'm going to do this and that. This is not for you. So if I were you, I turn it off. Heed this warning, kids. Heed this. Don't come blaming me saying, you got me in trouble. I'm going to sit there and say to you, well, sucks to be you. I told you not to watch it. You failed to do so. Sucks to be you, sucker. Okay. These are things that people get away with. Hidden notes on a thigh. They just tape the notes to the thigh, look up their leg and go, okay, Spanish with this, this, and that. And then it's like a tissue paper. Look out for tissue paper, like toilet tissue, toilet paper, napkins. I mean, it's like, I'm wiping my hands. Okay, and then you just look up the answers, have your answers there. It's like, hide it. Impressions on blank paper, you have mirror glass, cleavage, like you just unbutton your shirt, look through your shirt for the answers. Then you have the pen and pencil method. That's the one thing you have to get away with. Those are the things to get away with. When studying, you can actually have the answers without having to look at them from somewhere during the exam or paper get caught for cheating. The old thing that old teachers catch them with is the hand, like we saw in a clip earlier. He wrote the answers on his hand, so that okay. So, what's the lesson here? I mean, these things that we talked about, you need to make sure that you catch them. If you don't, you think you're getting away with it. But for kids, it's like, well, I'm going to take these things that this guy said, and I'm going to cheat on my test. No. I told you before. I told you once. I told you twice. I'm telling you 3 times. Don't take this episode and then say to yourself, I'm going to use all the tools that he's shown me, and then I'm going to pass my test. That is cheating. I'm sorry to say this. I've warned you. And if you go to the office and complain to me saying, well, blah, 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 so-and-so, this and this. Okay. I don't even know why I was searching through the channel. I was like looking for that the third one. There was actually 3 clips about cheating from the principal's office. 3. Ah, there it is. There's one. So, yeah. In this next one, you're about to see the teacher. There's 2 sides to every story. One person says, oh, I didn't do it. The other teacher says, well, this person got 100. So who do you believe? Watch.
I'm pretty nervous about going in Miss Harvey's office because a few things I did that I don't want to get caught for.
Nick, who do you think this might be from? You have any ideas?
No.
You haven't done anything wrong in any of your classes?
No.
You haven't done anything?
No.
Third period math, you got a perfect 100% on your test.
I get 100 on a lot of tests.
How'd you get the answers?
I wrote them with a pencil.
What did you look at to get them?
I didn't look at anything.
I knew he was lying. I knew there was so much more to the story. So you're telling me you did not cheat?
Who else would get 100 next to me?
I don't know.
I bet no one did. There's no one around me that was smart.
I'm not buying that. I'm going to call Mr. Murphy and have him come down so we can work this out.
No.
Yeah.
Well, when she called Mr. Murphy down, I pretty much knew I was I didn't know what else to do. I was just like...
Nick is adamant about the fact that he did not cheat. Those answers just came to him through natural phenomena.
Maybe.
Don't be shy now, because Mr. Murphy's here, Nick.
Yes, that's what I said.
You got 100% of the answers right, but for the wrong test.
Okay.
He gives out 2 forms of the test so that you all can't cheat off each other. Want to explain that?
It didn't happen.
That's very interesting, but obviously if you have all the right answers to the wrong form of the test, you must have cheated or gotten the right answer somehow from someone.
Was there anyone around me that had 100?
Absolutely. The person directly next to him had 100.
It's a coinkydink.
So you really want us to believe that it's just coincidence that you had all the right answers to the wrong test?
Yeah. I'm not wanting you to believe, I want you to know.
Enough. How did you get the answers to the other test?
Well, hypothetically, what would be the consequences if I were to cheat?
It's a 0 on the test.
All I get is a 0 on the test? So what do we got in the first place if I didn't cheat, so... I happened to glance over and look at this kid's answers, but he did not give me the answers and did not support my wrongdoings.
Which were,
Cheating.
this time is a 0. If it happens again, it will be an F for the course.
Alright.
Okay, back to class, Nick.
Alright. Mr. Murphy's pretty sneaky, having 2 versions of the test. Next time I just gotta make sure I'm cheating on the right test.
Now, how can you prevent this from happening? Like what Mr. Murphy did, give out 2 forms of the test. If you give out 2 forms of the test, that way, then that person next to you won't be able to cheat. The second method I have is separate. Have people turn the desk sideways. Like, one person on this side, one person facing this way, the other person facing this way. You might be asking me, well, if I do that, won't they just turn their head like this and then copy up the test? Possibly. The old-fashioned method is to walk around and go all. Are you cheating? Give me that. Okay. So that's cheating for you. But like I said before, don't take all this information I told you and yet use it to pass on your next exam. State exams, you cheat on state exams, you can be arrested for a breach of test security. When we talked about teacher as a cheater, Nancy Yergin was accused. It's not just the kids. Teachers can do the same. I mean, I tried looking up teacher as a cheater for y'all. Second place fee for our back to school month. And let me tell you, I couldn't find it. It was a 60-minute story that aired back in 1990, talking about all schools in South Carolina. But it only happens in like any other states. And it's just happening all over the country. And like I said before, I couldn't find it. I played it for you on some shows. And I couldn't find it. I never could find it. I never will find it. It got deleted. Okay, I don't know what else to do here, so we're going to move on to a different issue. Now, we talked about this. We talked about insubordination. We talked about dress code. We talked about disruption in our classes. We talked about insubordination. But there's another word that I came across years ago, and one I've used very often. The word is argumentative. In one case right here, a student was wearing gloves. The teacher told him to take it off. He said, "I'm not going to take it off." Teacher was like, "Well, because it's getting related. And that's not allowed in school." And started arguing with her, saying, "That's not true, I'm not going to take it off." And then he got written up with a referral. Take a look.
Following a student, Ron, who has been wearing mittens all throughout the school day, and the teacher asked him to take them off, and he refused.
Ron, my teacher asked me to take off the gloves because it's gang related and because it's not allowed in school. And then I started arguing with her, saying, "I know it's not true." And I said, "I'm not gonna take them off." And then she said she's gonna write me up in the referral. And then I said, "Just go ahead and do it."
Hey, Ron, what do you think the temperature is in school?
I don't know.
About 70, 72, 73?
I guess, yeah.
Why wear mittens?
Because I like it.
You afraid of germs that you could touch on a locker in the bathroom or something?
You know, like you live in New York or Hackensack, anywhere else, that's normal.
Well, they have the mittens posse down there?
No, just
If I was walking around school all day wearing those, would I stick out?
I guess you would, yeah.
But here's the problem, Ron. Teacher asked you to take them off and you refused, and you became argumentative. Then you can't do that, Ron. If you're told to do something, you do it, and then you bring it up with us. All right, Ron, you don't have detention after school. 90 minutes tomorrow.
So what was the whole point? So you may ask me, what does argumentative mean? Well, it's a big word. I mean, you use big words, I mean, people won't know what you mean. The definition of argumentative means trending to argue or have a tendency to disagree or argue with others in an angry way. This was an example. He was like, "That's not true. I'm not going to take them off." Arguing back and forth. That's being argumentative. It's also given expressing to divergent to opposite views. It's a legal term. It's an objection raised in response to a question which prompts a witness to draw references to facts of the case. That's legal term. I mean, this is also part of disruption in classes. When we continue, we're going to look at some other quotes from the principal's office all about these disruption in classes. From one person who talks to the teacher to talking in class, and even poking people with pencils. Stay with us. Also, marker face. Stay with us. Disruption in school and classes. It's also part of the educational process, like wearing gloves or wearing hats. Now, before we get to this first clip, I mean, y'all might be asking me, why am I not allowed to wear hats? Why am I not allowed to wear this hat to school? Why am I not allowed to wear hats to school? Well, basically because it's a distraction to the learning environment. What does that mean? I mean, think about this. I can take the hat from you, you can chase it after me. That's number one. Number two, people would have their hats on downwards, can't see the eyes, sideways, backwards. I mean, when the hat rule came into place, there was also situations where people were wearing hoods. That was back in the late 1990s, to where they would have to change the discipline code, change the discipline. The also purpose of this is just because they can hide drugs in their hats and in the hoods. So went through the process of discipline change. It said no hats, no hoods to cover the face. It's also because of security reasons, and traditionally you were at a courthouse and you're asked to remove your hat out of respect. Now, going back to disruption in our classes, take a look at this clip about a student who got a referral. Actually, was the teacher did not want to write referrals, but she talked nonstop and does very little work. That's what the teacher wrote.
Today I have to meet with a young lady who got a referral from a teacher, and according to the teacher, the student does very little work, and the student quite often has an attitude.
I'm really nervous about Mr. Harris suspending me because I don't need to be out of school and anything.
Miss Jones is not one to write referrals, so she must really be having a problem.
Or either having a bad day. She didn't have to take it out on me. She started hollering and stuff, and then I said it just like this, sir, look. I was like, Miss Jones, why are you hollering? I said it just like that. I did not get no attitude with her. I think that she just needs to have some joy in her life, basically. Have some happiness. That's what I gotta say. That's what Lorraine has to say. If the stuff gonna explode on the wrong person, where she gonna get a makeup call or a wake up call, whatever it is.
One of the things that she wrote is that you talk non-stop in class and does very little work. What are your thoughts about that?
Her class is kind of challenging. That's why I do little work.
Report cards went out about 3 weeks ago. What kind of grade did you have on your report card? Tell me about English.
English, that's a B or A. English is the easiest language because that's the first language there was. It was the first language. No, it wasn't the first language. It was the first language.
Have you been in my office? First time. Every student gets one get out of jail free pass. You can use it today, or you can hold on to it.
I'm using today because today's my only time getting the referral.
All right.
Lorraine can't get in trouble. And I got her right now.
Oh. Now that sounds like attitude.
No, it sounds like getting together right now.
All right, let's find a way to get happy. Okay?
For the rest of the day, I'm going to be Lorraine. That's who I'm going to be. A good Lorraine, sweet, happy Lorraine.
Now, in her case, she was talking. You don't talk while you're in class. I'm going to play you a next clip from two schools. The first one, this is from the two same schools. So then we go into the first one. This is from the same school. The first clip of this one is basically this kid was talking Talking. A lot of talking. He got a referral. Take a look.
For 2 times.
So this kid gets a referral for talking in class. And then basically he gets all like, oh, no, it works, so this and this. Actually, we'll let the clip explain.
Find the extra money.
Talking in class when they should be working is one of our most common offenses. Sure, come on, inside, my office. This is a high school, students are here to learn. If you're disrupting class, I'm gonna see you in my office. Sean, why were you sent out of Mr. Elmo's class?
We were doing work, and yeah, I was talking, so he kicked me out in the hallway. So I come back in and I ask, is this due at the end of the period? He goes, yes, and in 5 minutes, if you're quiet, I'll let you back in. So I thought he said, stay in now.
Did you ask him that question?
No.
So we just assumed?
Yes.
You know what they say about assuming, right? Never assume.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. And what were you supposed to be doing?
A word search.
And if we were talking to our friend, were we getting the word search done?
Yeah.
You're a good multitasker?
I don't know.
You know what multitasking is, Sean? What is it?
Two things at once.
Doing more things at once, right?
Yeah.
Right? Are we good at that?
I guess.
You guess?
Yeah.
Was the word search being graded?
Yes.
So it was important.
Yeah.
Was it as important as talking to your friend? More important, right?
Yes.
Teachers are going to do what in class?
Teach.
And students are going to do what?
Learn.
And if we're talking to our friend and not following directions, is that happening?
No.
Do we have a right to be in class then? No. You know the policy, right? You get sent out of class, what does that earn you?
Regular detention.
You know what room detention's in?
16.
16. How come you know that?
Was there a lot?
They're a lot. Too much.
Yes.
Don't put yourself in a position to get sent out. I don't want to be having this problem anymore. I only want to see Sean for good things. Understood?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Go back to class.
Alright, so he gets detention for disrupting class. Now take a look at this next clip. It was disrupting class, but also calling a teacher by a racial slur. I mean, it's a fragile flower. Just take a look.
I'm calling down a student who was kicked out of class for fooling around, and then as he was leaving, he said that he was only being sent out because he was Spanish. Which has me a little upset that he would paint the teacher as being prejudiced. Michael, why are you here?
Miss Calacino sent me out.
Tell me what happened in Miss Calacino's class.
Well, she gave our class a privilege to speak since we didn't have any work. Me and one of my other friends started kind of speaking to someone across the room. And then I was sitting on my desk when she told me to stay outside.
And then what was the comment you made after that? What did you say to her?
Miss Calacino?
You didn't say anything to Miss Calacino? No, there's not a little detail that we're leaving out, Mike? She doesn't throw people out of class, Mike. Okay?
I told Manny, maybe I told him it was because I was Spanish.
Loud enough for Miss Calacino to hear it.
I don't think so.
Well, she heard it.
She wasn't supposed to hear it.
You know, you start something like that, that's how all the rumors start. We don't do rumors in this building, especially not about teachers. You're capable of better, Mike, and I expect better. You know what detention is, right? Any reason we can't be in detention today? We'll make sure it doesn't happen again, right? And I expect when you see Miss Calacino that you'll straighten things out with her. So the next time I see her, she'll tell me that, you know what? Mike was man enough, he came to me and he apologized for what he said. Okay. All right. Go to class.
I guess I have to go speak to my teacher now and apologize. I don't mind. It's whatever.
But now there's more about all this stuff. I mean, there's also a button pusher. This is the big one ever. So let's take a break. When we return, we're going to play this video along with other disruption classes from the principal's office with some principals that have some common sense about the common sense alarm. Stay with us. We are still focusing on disruption in our classes. Orange School, basically students disrupting class because of silly behavior, goofing off, whatever. Disrespecting teachers. All of them get sent to the principal's office. Here's the next one. This student was being disrespectful to his teacher. It got so out of hand to where 2 words happened. Take a look.
There's some discipline incidents where the teachers write a whole book about what happened in the class. On this particular referral, I got 2 words: disrespectful behavior. Jesse's had a problem with this teacher since school started, and it's really time to bring this to an end. Heard you got into it with Mr. Olson again. Tell me what happened, please.
I don't know. He wrote it down in the paper, didn't he?
I want to hear from you.
And nothing happened. So he lies. He lies.
Written down right here is disrespectful behavior.
That's it?
That's it.
Well, I don't like him, first of all. And that's pretty much it.
You know what? Mr. Olson works really hard and has worked in this school for a long, long time.
You can tell by the wrinkles on his face.
Now you're just starting to make me mad, Jesse. This is the second incident you've had with this teacher. And I need to hear from you what happened. Now, if you want, we can go walk down to the classroom and find out.
Sure.
But why don't you just tell me?
Because that makes it too easy. I just like to give Mr. Costello a hard time, so make his job a little bit more difficult, because he barely does anything anyway, so...
Well, let's go see Mr. Olson and see what he has to say. Jesse's not giving me any information that I can use, so we gotta go see the teacher. I told him that you had reported him as being disrespectful, and Jesse looked me right in the eye and said the teacher lies.
Oh, Jesse. I mean, I thought you were man enough to be able to man up and say, hey, I did it. I was disrespectful. I told Mr. Olson I wouldn't do my work. I told Mr. Olson I didn't care about the class.
I don't need that class to graduate.
Okay. But did you tell him that you were so disrespectful it was influencing the other kids' education?
Nah. You think so? You think they were disrupted?
I think you were just very disruptive.
I disagree.
You gotta live with yourself, Jesse.
I do live with myself, actually.
You have people that are trying to help you. If you're gonna reject that help, that's your choice. You can do that.
All right.
But it's a shame that you're missing out.
That's fine.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Appreciate it.
I hope things turn out well.
Yeah, me too. Come on. It's frustrating for me and for teachers when students think that we're out to get them. That somehow we don't like kids or we don't want to see students succeed. When really that's the furthest from the truth.
So you're here to go to school, you're here to learn, get your high school diploma, and get on with your life, Jesse. I mean, that's what I want to see from you, but you keep doing things that interrupt that process.
I'm going to have you come in on Saturday for detention.
So you can go out into the office and get past it.
All right. I hope that Jesse changes, but some of that's got to come from him, that he sees us not as the enemy, not as somebody that's trying to keep him down, but somebody who's challenging him to really do his best.
We all have to do our best when it comes to getting an education. We can't just be sitting there all like doing all this and this so and so. Okay. Now, inappropriate language is not allowed in any school by any person, student, or staff. It's unacceptable. Take a look.
Mr. Tager would be appalled if me or somebody else disrespected a teacher.
inappropriate language is not allowed in Manalapan at any time by any person, student or staff. It's unacceptable. Here's a write-up. I don't know what it's about.
Alex was cursing loud and clear, telling a story, plus continued to curse after being told to stop. She said 4 times.
Bad language is not supposed to be used in a school environment. It's as simple as that. Students, teachers, no one's supposed to use bad language around here.
This is ridiculous.
No.
They curse in the class constantly. I get written up for saying, this has got to be the most ridiculous thing I've ever been in trouble for. It's like she's picking on me for this one. I've never even gotten yelled at for cursing.
No. Whose mouth did this come out of?
Mine.
Okay, so who's picking on? She's not picking on you.
Wasn't even talking even next to her. She just heard me.
You shouldn't say it. It shouldn't be said in the classroom. What is this?
A dictionary.
And how many words are in there, roughly?
A lot.
10,000. Well, I know that you know how to communicate without using bad language. Am I correct about that?
Yeah.
What do I say to you all the time? Think. Alex, please think. Because when you think, you're a fine young man. When you just do things sometimes, you upset yourself more than you upset anybody else. All right? I'm just going to give you 2 central office detentions. But this is the last time we have this discussion in the next 2 years. Last time we have this discussion, all right?
Gotcha.
Take care.
Bye. Am I ever going to curse in school again? Yeah, to tell you the truth, yeah. In that class, probably not. I don't know.
And he was also in another clip. Now, this was the same kid who cursed in school, but it was a backpack. Now, we'll play that for you in just a second. But take a look at these 3 girls. It's just nothing more frustrating than when a teacher disciplining one child and one or more other individuals stick their noses in business that is not theirs. What do I mean by that? Watch.
There's nothing more frustrating when a teacher's disciplining one kid and one or more other individuals stick their nose in business that is not theirs. Right now, I have to deal with 3 students. 1 who had an argument with the teacher, and 2 that put their 2 cents where it wasn't asked for. Let me give you your write-ups first. Erica, here's yours.
Why did we get written up?
I just want him to understand the situation and realize that I don't do anything wrong. I never do anything wrong. Hopefully he'll see that.
Read it out, please.
I couldn't control my comments, which were disrespectful.
No.
Disrespectful.
Erica had to be asked to leave the room.
She was instructed to sign into the main office.
Making comments.
1 will speak at a time. Chelsea?
Chelsea was disrespectful, making comments aloud and under her breath.
Erica had to be asked to leave the room because she cannot control her comments, which were disrespectful.
Nicole had been asked to leave the room because she could not control her comments, which were disrespectful. This teacher's mean, and she needs a dye job on her hair because her hair is bugging out.
Okay, what's the deal here?
About 15 minutes into class, she starts reading. Everyone's talking. I couldn't hear her. And the book Beowulf, that's in modern English, which is very hard to read.
English is just way too hard for me.
I said, I don't get this. And then she completely ignored me, like looked at me for a little bit.
She ignores everybody.
Then I asked the kid next to me and I got the answers. And then she goes, you know what, you can go to the main office now. And I said, you know what, okay. I said, bye. I got up and walked out.
I said to her, bye Chelsea, see you next period. And she goes, get out.
Yeah, I turned my head and I was like laughing under my breath, and she's like, out. And I was like, bye, if you don't want me in your class.
Yeah, I told her, I was like, all right, bye.
I did not do anything. None of this would happen if we didn't have this teacher, because she just gives us problems. She doesn't like us. She likes guys, not girls. She's like jealous of us, I think. She wants to be us.
If the teacher is having an issue with one of you, the other 2 should keep their nose out of the teacher's business. That's how you got in trouble. You butted into something that was not your business.
Mr. Teague, as you know, my mother was a teacher, so the thought of me being disrespectful to teachers is basically like me being disrespectful to a mother.
You want me to buy swampland in Florida? Don't give me that line of baloney. All three of you have central office detention next Tuesday and next Wednesday.
2?
Yeah, you're gonna get 2 central office detentions. Yeah.
Why can't we just write her a little apology and be like, I'm sorry?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go stay inside her anyway.
This is going on forever. We have 2 central office detentions. Keep our mouth shut. We'll do what we have to do. All right, go to class. Okay.
In this class, I'll probably get in trouble again, but I don't care, because I'm always right.
You may be always right, but what's never right is raising the common sense. I'll give you that when we return. Stay with us, and we have one more for you. Alright, common sense alert. What this one teacher said, what this one student said is like, I mean, this teacher's mean. I mean, the teacher did her job. That's the key here. That's the key. The teacher did her job. This person, okay, this one person, okay, go to the office. Okay, this one person, go to the office. The key here is to mind your damn business. You don't interfere with other people's business. You don't stick your nose in something that doesn't belong to you. It's none of your business. You don't stick your nose in other people's business. If the teachers have an issue with one student, the other two or more people should keep their nose out of people's business. That's how you're going to get in trouble. If you butt into something that is not your business. If the principal gives you detention, you can't just be all like, well, blah, 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 so-and-so this and this. It doesn't matter. You don't butt into something. That's how you got in trouble. So don't be giving people line blowing and say, well, this teacher's just mean. I mean, she's just doing her job. You may be right. Take a look at this last one, then we're going to wrap it up here. This student at the same classroom, his name is James. He gets in trouble for disrupting the class. The teacher says, you got a problem. Let's take a look.
The teacher tells you to keep your mouth shut in their classroom. Keep your mouth shut. There's no place for disrespect for any authority figure in this building. It's not tolerated. It's not tolerated at all.
Stay. We need to talk. I got sent to the office, stupid.
James, what are you doing here?
Got kicked out of math class.
You got kicked out of class?
Yeah.
All right, tell me what happened.
I was sitting in class, doing my book work, and from across the room, the teacher says that I have a problem. Like, where do people come up with that? Just a student sitting there, I have a problem. My math teacher was bugging today. This teacher's out of control. She's crazy.
What were you supposed to be doing in the class?
I was doing my work like I was told, but she says I have a problem. And I said to her, I have no problem. She said, well, you must have a problem, and she kicked me out.
If I go to the teacher, what is the teacher going to say?
She should say that, unless she's making things up.
Making things up?
That's what she does.
I'm going to call her, and I'm going to find out from her end what happened. Do you want to change any story? You want to change anything?
What I told you is the truth.
Okay, fine. Hi. Yeah. Yeah, what happened with James Aiello?
Alright, Miss Tate just picked up the phone on Bricks right now. I don't know what's going to happen because she's going to tell him a totally different story that I told him.
Oh, really? All right, thank you very much for your assistance. And her story's a bit different than yours. She was supposed to do work quietly, and that someone was yelling across the room at another student. Now, is that possible? Because that's not the story you told me.
You might have been talking across the room, but...
Were you or weren't you?
I was.
You were.
Yeah.
Okay, but we left that part out originally.
But that doesn't mean I have a problem. Like,
sure it does.
It's not, she wasn't even teaching in class. We were sitting there doing butt work.
It's a problem if you don't do what the teacher tells you to do in her classroom. That is a problem. That's a definite problem to me.
To me, that's not a problem.
Well, you know what? If the teacher writes you up I will see you later in the day. Right now, there's no write-up. There's no documentation. What I would do if I was you, I would find a teacher and I would say, look, I've been good the whole year. Today was a bad day. I won't do anything wrong again. Please don't write me up.
I'm not doing that.
You're not doing that?
No.
Okay, well, fine. If she writes you up, she writes you up.
It's fine.
Have a nice day, James. Maybe I'll see you later.
All right.
If I receive a referral on James, he'll get a Saturday detention because this goes above a regular central office detention. You don't act up in a class, particularly when you're an 11th grader in the school.
Now we'll continue on, but we're out of time. More disruption in our class. More disruption in these classes as our back to school month continues. We're gonna finish up on Sunday with more disruptions in our classes, including one who was calling a student white girl. Then this student started throwing a binder, which was also disruption to the class. And this person was flipping a desk because of his attitude. And this person gets suspended because calling the teacher loco. Not crazy, he just said a curse word, which profanity is prohibited. And then we get to the marker face here. And even this one who just horses around. And there's also one more, and there's also one which talks about one student who could cause disruption in the hallway. Sometimes it's not happening in the classroom, it also happens in the hallways. And this one right here was all like sailor mouth. And we're also going to talk about dealing with drugs in our schools. What can be done about this? That's all coming up on Sunday. That's going to be a break for now. Join all of us at YouTube next time for another edition to Give Me a Break. Thanks for watching.